The following content is based on real events that occurred in UK academia. Innovative UK medical research terminated following a researcher's failure to comply with key legal agreements. A UK university had its medical research government funding withdrawn after a researcher took action that conflicted with the conditions of the funding. The researcher had been conducting groundbreaking UK government-funded research on the subject of genome editing for the development of new medicines. After publishing several academic papers, the researcher was approached by a senior employee from a UK subsidiary of an overseas synthetic biology company. The senior employee expressed keen interest in the research and during a meeting offered additional funding and lab space at their UK facility through an informal talent plan. The senior employee assured the researcher that this did not require notification to the researcher's university. The researcher accepted the offer and continued their research, working both at the university and the company facility. Over the next 3 months, the researcher found the staff at the company facility very welcoming, frequently attending networking events and introducing numerous colleagues from the UK university. However, when the researcher's government funding partner discovered that they were receiving additional funding which conflicted with the terms and conditions of the government funding, the researcher's government funding was withdrawn. Shortly after the withdrawal of government funding, the UK subsidiary company offered the researcher further funding to work on a new project using synthetic biology to enhance physical and cognitive human performance, which the researcher accepted, exposing them to a significant amount of further risk. What can we learn from the UK researcher's story? Accepting payment from an overseas company can result in reputational damage to both researcher and institution, negatively impacting the potential for future partnerships. Researchers should be aware of who ultimately benefits from their work. When collaborating with UK subsidiaries of overseas companies, researchers should work with their research office and/or professional services to explore the organisation's entire ownership structure as part of due diligence. Then consider whether export controls apply, based on information transfer within that structure. A reliable research partner should not hide their affiliations from you or your employer, nor should they request you to do so. Legitimate collaborations should be formalised by contracts. It is a red flag if a partner insists that a contract is not required. Foreign talent plans often incentivise members to recruit existing partners and colleagues, leading to increased transfer of research and intellectual property. Due diligence is an ongoing process and should be revisited with changes in research scope, funding source, or the addition of new individuals in the partnership. Under the National Security and Investment Act, the UK government can scrutinise qualifying acquisitions if there's reasonable suspicion of a risk to national security. Acquisitions related to sensitive areas of the economy, such as synthetic biology, are more likely to trigger scrutiny. Universities can voluntarily notify the government about an acquisition to determine if it will be called in. Institutions should educate and protect vulnerable staff and students from potentially exploitative approaches, particularly those early in their careers or on insecure contracts. The Trusted Research for Academia guidance provides additional advice on collaborating responsibly with international partners. What could the UK researcher have done to mitigate the risks? Check the terms and conditions of existing contracts before accepting additional funding to ensure there is no breach of terms. Notify their institution of collaborations in line with the relevant policies and processes. For example, international collaboration, due diligence, and conflicts of interest policies. With the assistance of the Research Office, conduct open source research on all partners and their funding sources. This should happen at the outset, but also be refreshed regularly for the duration of a project. Consider the wider possible applications of research, such as dual-use applications. Maintain awareness of changes in the scope of a research project, which may require additional consultation with the Research Office regarding due diligence and legal obligations. Need more information? Speak to your research office or professional services and visit the NPSA Trusted Research website.